What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. I am here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Friday, October 3rd, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of upstate New York and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a very special guest that's on with me today, as she has been very seasoned in this industry for quite some time. She's been a script runner for One Life to Live. She's been working with CNN for over 10 plus years and as a freelance editor as well. She has had many different stops in this industry. She graduated from Northeastern University as well, if I'm not mistaken, with her undergrad and also Harvard with her master's degree. And now she's doing a podcast of her own called Unknown to Known. So we're going to talk to her about all of these things that she has done and doing, and we're also going to ask her some get to know you questions. So without any further ado, I introduce you guys. Jamie Maglietta is how you say it?
Yes,
Oh
Maglietta.
my goodness. I said that 20 times in the mirror before I came on here. Make sure I didn't butcher that. But welcome to the podcast, Jamie. How you doing today?
Thanks for having me.
Well, it is an absolute pleasure to have you, Jamie. It was a no-brainer to ask you to be on. So thank you for being on. Now, my first question to you is the same question that I always have for everybody that comes on this podcast. And it's really simple. What is your why? Why do you do
My why.
what you do? Did you have any role models or any inspirations growing up? But ultimately, what is your why for getting into the media industry and journalism?
So when I was a kid, I used to interview people. I used a little camcorder and a microphone and would interview people and ask them about their lives. It started as I think it was a fourth grade assignment, and I just loved it and I kept doing it. And I was an actress and a singer, so I was a classically trained opera singer.
Okay.
So that was my background, and I would sing and perform on stages, and I was always the national anthem singer in my town for like sporting events or
Mhm.
parades, and so I always had this on-camera persona within my town. But as I started to navigate, I realized I wasn't as interested in being on camera as I was interested in creating the content that we put together for
Sure.
entertainment and
Yeah.
news. So I had this like local station in our town that I would report the news for through our high school. And as I would do that, I started to realize I was kind of afraid of how I was being viewed or judged. And I was also kind of worried about being so public with myself on camera
Right.
that I thought maybe being behind the scenes would be better. So I actually was exposed to this industry very young, and the TV news show that we had, I started at 14, where we were on local access in our high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had that exposure to journalism at a young age. Plus my mother, she required the news in the morning. I would basically have breakfast with Diane Sawyer, because every morning we were
Wow.
watching Good Morning
Yeah.
America or ABC or the Today Show. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
I love that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you grew up in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
yeah, and in your high school, you was able to also be a reporter and an anchor there as well. They had a,
Yes.
right. So you like you said, you was seasoned very early. You was learning very early, and I love that. Did you always know that you wanted to do something like that, as far as being either a reporter or an actress, or was that just something that just came about?
I was pushed in that
Okay.
direction as a kid.
Hmm.
I enjoyed singing
Hmm.
and they pushed me out on stage. I enjoyed interviewing people, so my mom pushed me to join the TV news crew.
Gotcha.
It was never really me saying, I want this. It was more my parents saying, you have this talent, you need to apply
Yeah.
it in a different way, and you have to be public with it in order to get good at
I
it.
got you. Absolutely. I'm a huge musical buff, by the way. If it wasn't sports, it probably would be theater for me because I'm
Oh,
huge into
nice.
musicals. Love musicals to death for sure. Okay.
So where in upstate New York are you located?
Rochester. So about an hour from Buffalo and also an hour in the other direction from Syracuse. So yeah, that's where I'm
Nice.
located now for
Nice.
sure.
We're familiar. We travel up to Syracuse often, so I know the
Mm.
area.
Okay.
So you like the sports? What's your sports teams?
Well, I grew up in California. So naturally, my dad was in the Navy, so he relocated us cause from Chicago. So I was born in Chicago, Jamie, and then I relocated to San Diego. So that's where a lot of my sports teams come from, California. So the Lakers, the Chargers, the Trojans, stuff like that. Those are some of my favorite sports teams because I grew up idolizing Kobe Bryant. I was in middle school slash high school when they made their three-peat run. And it was just amazing, and that's where I fell in love with sports. Played sports all through high school as well, but that's where my passion for it came from. Watching those hometown teams with my dad, but also watching Bulls games. My mother is from Chicago as well, and she was a huge Michael Jordan fan. So watching the Bulls games, I was very young, and she used to always cheer so loud. So we would sit in front of the TV, and I would take stats of the game, and I would watch it like that. So that's where I got my love and my passion from.
Nice.
Mhm. Oh,
So we both have it with our parents.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We mentioned it before. You went to Northeastern University, which is in Boston, Massachusetts, and but you also got your master's from Harvard University. I want to know, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to those two particular schools, or were you dead set on going to those two schools?
I really wanted to go to Elon
Mhm.
in North Carolina.
Wow. Okay.
Elon was my top choice, and Ithaca. I liked Ithaca
Hmm.
and Duke. I wanted Duke. But at the time when I applied to schools, what was appealing to me about Northeastern was the co-op program.
Okay.
Now, what was unique about Northeastern at the time was, yes, they were evolving with this co-op program. Not many people knew about it. Not many people were even considering it near me. So it was very new. And I wanted a program that would help me break out. I grew up in a very small town and I wanted something that would make sure that by the time I graduated, I had enough experience under my belt that I could nail that first job.
Hmm.
So Northeastern was great in the sense that I started working my sophomore year in local news and I wound up making the rounds in different areas. I tried promotions. I worked in the newsroom as a news assistant,
Right.
as a reporter's assistant.
Yeah.
So in college, I was able to get all of that done at Northeastern and graduate early with a double major and a minor. So it was like it gave me so much more than any other university. So really, when it came down to it, nothing could have topped Northeastern.
Right. I mean, you had your sights set on different, but at the same time, you made the best of it. Wow, graduating early
Yeah.
too. That's amazing. Congrats on that for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not easy getting into Harvard. I mean, wow, that's that's amazing, and that's amazing in its own right. So you definitely deserve your
So
roses for that.
yeah, I mean, Harvard was my master's degree,
Hmm.
and I got in before COVID,
Hmm.
and it ended right after COVID. So most of it was online,
Right.
which was great. I loved it. It was an online offer.
Right.
But what was really cool was walking, going there for graduation, being on the grounds of Harvard, and thinking to myself, like, I'm achieving a dream that I had that I never thought was possible in the small town that I grew up in.
Sure.
So it was really a powerful moment, and that's what drew me to Harvard. Was it seemed so impossible that when it became possible, I had to go for
That's
it.
amazing, Jamie. It really is.
Mhm.
You obviously, I'm pretty familiar with the city you're in now because I went to college out there, lived many years out there, Kennesaw State University, as you probably know that
Yep.
school, where I too have just gotten my master's. I actually will be walking this December.
So excited for
Thank you
you.
so much. I appreciate that. So I'll be coming down there shortly. I want to ask you though, as a native of New Jersey, and typically I ask people who are native of New Jersey and New York this question: have you ever had street meat?
Yeah.
Do you like street meat?
Yeah. But I had my street meat first time not in New York, but in India. Street meat is
Mm,
great. You can get it anywhere. And
mm,
what I really like about street meat is the fact that most of it is a kebab style, or you can get it like sliced and diced on a roll.
mhm.
But in other countries, it's more common, I would say. So it made me, when I got to New York, a little bit, it's like I've already been there, done that.
Right, right.
So street meat's good. But they don't have really much street meat here in Atlanta.
No, they definitely don't. Because when I went there for the first time in New York City, for the very first time, I was walking the streets at about 2, 3 a.m. in the morning because the first time I got there, I took a megabus, and the megabus
Mm,
got there. So, and the guy asked me, "Do you want some street meat?" And mind you, Jamie, I don't know what in the world he was talking about at this point in time. I don't know what he's talking about. It's 2, 3 in the morning. That's a little suspect. So I said, "No, no, no."
yeah, that sounds
Right.
suspect.
I don't want any street meat. I'm good. I'm all right. And then he was like, "No, man, it's really good. I put the white sauce on it, and it's like I'm like, no, no, I don't want no
Mhm.
sauce, no meat. Just give me a Sprite." I don't even know how you was cooking it, cause like I don't see no skillet, I don't see anything. Like, how are you fixing this at 2, 3 in the morning? Now the
Cooked on the oven of their engine. No.
Right, right. Like, I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, what is this dude talking about? So then when I came back for the second time, I was visiting a friend there in New York. He took me in about 10, 11 a.m. in the morning. He said, "Hey, man, you got to try this out." That's when I became a fan of street meat. And I was like, okay, I understand what you're talking about with the white sauce now. Very good. Very
Mhm.
good. So every time I go back there, I got to get some for sure. So I'm very fond of New York City. I want to ask you some favorite questions, Jamie. And you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions. Okay, so here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Ooh, that I like to cook? Do I need to be cooking it? No. So, yeah, I don't really have one. I don't cook very much, and when I am cooking, I feel like I am experimenting more than anything right now because my son is celiac, so
Mhm.
everything has to be gluten-free.
Right.
But a good chicken parm is
Yeah.
always one of those things that I lean on when family comes to town.
Okay. Now let's flip that. What is your favorite meal to eat?
Mm. Again, I mean, I guess like those I always like those Chipotle bowls.
Wow. Okay. So let me tell you a
Mhm.
fun fact before I get to the next favorite. I've never had Chipotle. Yeah, I've
Really?
never had Chipotle. Um,
Is that not around where you
no,
are?
no, it is. I've just never tried it. I mean, normally when I do eat out, it's like Moe's. So I do eat Moe's, but I've just never had Chipotle. And my mother, my aunt, my uncle, who are still down there in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Lawrenceville area, as you know about that, they all have tried it, and they all like curse me to death on why I haven't tried it yet. So next, I told them that next time I come out there, which is in December, I'll try some Chipotle, and I'll let you know how it is for sure. For
Good.
sure. Okay. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh gosh, you're really going down a road of things I don't enjoy concerts.
Really?
I went to see Ludovico Einaudi.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
pianist. He was good.
Mhm. Okay, I'm gonna have to Wikipedia that, Jamie, because I don't know about that one, but
I didn't fall asleep, but usually I have.
that's okay. Okay, so I'll flip it again.
Any concert I go
Hmm.
to, I'm falling asleep.
Okay, so I'll flip it. What is your favorite? If you could pick like maybe I'll say top three. If you could pick like a top three, what is your like top three musicals that you like? Theater musicals.
Oh, no, I am not the best guest for this. I don't enjoy watching musicals. I like being in them.
Oh, okay. Well,
So if I'm in it, I like it. No, I mean, I've seen some good musicals. Les Mis is one of my
mhm,
favorites that always gives me the chills, or Phantom. I have wanted to see Hairspray, and I saw it when when I was living in New York, and I didn't think it was as good as everyone else thought. So I'm very critical. I've heard Wicked is great, but I haven't seen it
it's
in
good.
on
It's
stage.
good.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Okay, that's all right. That's totally fine. Listen, I mean,
You know what was my favorite one though was Lion King. I did love seeing
oh,
Lion King
okay.
on stage.
Mhm.
Yeah, you'd love that in New York City.
Absolutely.
Lion King might be the best one actually.
Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. I have not seen that
Yeah.
live for sure. So I would definitely keep that in mind. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
I mean, I mentioned India, so I'll stick with India.
Wow. Well, now was that a family trip, a honeymoon, or what was that?
No, I studied in different
Mhm.
countries, and India was one of them.
Wow. Okay, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's part of when I was at Northeastern.
That is amazing. I love that. I'll have to ask for some
Mhm.
recs for you because India is definitely on my bucket list since I got my passport this past year. So it's
Nice.
on my bucket list for sure. I would say Jamaica is mine. I don't know if you've been to Jamaica
I
before,
love
but you love
Jamaica.
Jamaica. So yes,
Mhm.
that is my favorite for sure. I love that place. I'm a sports person.
And the slides, the natural earth
Oh
slides.
my gosh, those are absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
No question about that. Yes, you're right. I wanna ask you this next question, and that is, I'm a sports person, so I gotta give
Mhm.
this two-part sports question. Okay, so here we go.
Mhm.
Favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person? They could be the same sport.
Mhm. I really enjoy, well, I've always been a Patriots fan. That's just my thing.
Mm,
Probably because I'm everything Boston.
mm-hmm.
And so I enjoy going to, I will stay up and not fall asleep during a football game. And flag football, my daughter plays flag football,
Okay.
and I co-coached. I guess you could say assistant coached, where I was more
Hmm.
in charge of, snaps, agility, and drills, pulling flags. So I'm athletic in that sense, and I enjoy going to flag football games.
Well,
Yeah.
that definitely puts a smile on my face, Jamie. There's no question about that. You mentioned one of my favorite sports, which is obviously football. I love football, so yes. Basketball too. I would definitely say
Mhm.
basketball is my favorite as well. So yeah, football and basketball. God bless your heart for being a Patriots fan. No question about that. But you guys have had a great run. There's no question about
Mhm.
that. Yes, terrific run. And I do think you guys possibly can make the playoffs this year. It's very possible. I do think so. That's for sure. Just throwing that out there. Final of the favorites. I'm a huge foodie. I know Atlanta, Georgia very well. There's a lot of places that I like to go out and eat at, but I want to know when you step out, what is your favorite place that you like to go out and eat at?
I always enjoy places that offer homemade Italian.
Mm.
So there's a few different ones. Grania is one that is in a few different locations
Yep.
around Atlanta.
Yep.
That's a good one. They have like a meatball tray,
Hmm.
so if anyone is into Italian,
Hmm.
and their pasta's homemade.
Definitely good. No question about that. I would say one of my favorite places is Buca di Beppo. If you ever been there, Buca di Beppo is one.
Mhm.
Maggiano's is another.
Yep, Maggiano's.
Maggiano's is one of my favorite places as well. I love that. I love those two places for sure. And there's a place downtown Atlanta on North Ave, near North Ave, I should say, called Eats.
I haven't been there, but I've seen it.
Okay, so you have seen it though. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that place
Yeah.
they serve very big dishes, but it's very good
Mm.
food. Very good food. So I love that. I love that a lot. I want to talk to you now, Jamie, about your day to day. As you know, as journalists, no 2 days are ever the same. We always deal with different stories, different people. That's one of the reasons why we love what we do, because it's the unknown of what we're going to be doing, whether it's whatever genre it is. I want to know, how do you get your day started each day? Because you got the on camera ready stuff. You got your podcast, unknown to known. You're constantly putting out social media videos of just of self help videos, right? Helping people, realize their potential, but also giving tips on what they should do or what they should look at and stuff like that. So how often do you do that? What is a typical day in Jamie's life? Because you're also a wife, you're also a mom, and sibling, family. So you got a lot of things going on. So tell me your day to day process of how you work and what you do.
Well, I just want to add, Chris, you've been a great supporter of me on Instagram, and I always appreciate all the support you throw my way because it is a grinding and grueling attempt when you're trying to crank out content across platforms.
Mhm.
Because of my television news background, I've always had tremendous expectations on me on a daily basis, cranking out shows and then turning around social media content and coming up with the next day of content for the show as well as segment ideas. So when you are used to that type of workflow, creating social media content, it becomes, I don't know, I don't want to say easy, but it's just
Routine.
perfect for my existence
Yeah.
because I'm so used to creating every single day
Right.
that when I wasn't creating anymore, I kind of needed something to
Right.
create. So social media became my everyday why. I need to get up, I need to do something, I need to create. And my podcast is a passion project. I interview television anchors, reporters,
Hmm.
YouTubers, top TikTokers, and I'm trying to help people explore this new media landscape as experts by listening to experts who have gone before them or are on the journey but a little further ahead
Right.
than they are.
Right.
And so that they can figure out what to do next and how to show up professionally on camera and strategize themselves. So that's what the podcast focuses on, and I'm it's a passion project as I said, and right now I'm batch recording, which means you're recording back to back episodes so that you have enough content to last you for a long extended period of time. I'll be recording and producing probably 3 months worth of content with a daily podcast every day by the end of October
Wow.
so that I don't have anything to really produce come January.
Right.
Um, and that's the way I'm working. And that then frees me up to do other things. But each day is different still, which I really like.
Mhm.
When I had a job with a 9 to 5 style after CNN, it was with BET Paramount. It was 9 to 5, meetings, and I loved it. I really did. I was dealing more with budgets, and creating content became personal.
Right.
And I think once creating became personal, I didn't want to let that go. So, a job that would require me to be creating for something other than myself started to feel like I like a step I didn't want to take right now.
Right.
Right now, I'm just really enjoying creating content both for myself and for my audience. And I really love just pouring into them to make them stronger and better. And I'm trying to strategize new ways to do that. Once I get through my course, I have a visibility program launching. Once that's out and once I have all these podcasts put out, I'll begin to focus more on YouTube videos and social media videos that are more tutorial, and they break down tactics and approaches that people need to become on camera ready. After I did that thing that you mentioned, it was 90 days showing up on social media.
Hmm.
I was exhausted. I was so burnt out from that. I will never do that again. And what it taught me was that those people showing up on social media, telling you to post 60 days straight, 90 days straight, and you'll start growing are full of it. Because I was doing it for 90 days and I don't think I saw the needle move up. I saw it move down. And that was discouraging.
Right.
So I don't recommend anyone does that. I had a strategy in place. I had a like a script format to follow by one of those like social media growth experts, and it just didn't really pan out, and I was sad that I put all that work in to not really move the needle on Instagram. So that was my one takeaway, which I think is worth sharing if people are hearing this and are thinking, "Oh, I've wanted to try that." Yeah, maybe you don't.
No, I appreciate the transparency. I do, because listen,
Mhm.
that was again one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out and talk to you is because I knew you were putting out great content. It's really easy to talk to people that are very passionate and very talented in what they do, and that's what you are. There's no question about that. And you've had a plethora of experience as well, working in different places, but not just working in different places, working in different roles. You know, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. So when you work in different roles and you're talking to somebody like that that's very seasoned and very just very talented at what they do, it's easy to be able to talk to people like
Yeah.
that. It really is. It's really easy to get
Yeah.
feedback. It's really easy to take their tips and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
again, the 90-day challenge is something that you tried, right? You tried because you
Yeah.
thought that, hey, this might be some way where I can also reach my audience. It's just something different from what I haven't done. But every time we step up to the plate, we're not going to hit it over the wall. Sometimes,
Exactly.
right? So it's just not going to happen like that. But the only way
Exactly.
you,
And right now, I basically post every day, but I don't post it with every day being a certain type of content.
right? Absolutely. Now, this is a great segue, though, Jamie, because now I want to talk to you about work life balance, and I also want to talk to you about mental health. I'm a huge
Mhm.
advocate for mental health. I've seen a lot of journalists. I've been in this industry for about 8 years, combined with Atlanta, Minnesota, and now here in New York. I've seen a lot of journalists step away because their mental health has been affected. Everybody deals with things differently. Everybody deals with mental health
Mhm.
differently, but it's not just the mental health breakdowns that I'm, seeing. It's also work-life balance. Work-life balance in
Mhm.
this industry looks different from different lenses, and some people just can't get it right. And that's okay. It's not bad that you can't get it right. Maybe this is just not the industry for you. But I've seen a lot of people step away because of that. I want to know, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also still have that work life balance? Because, as I advocated before, you are a wife, you are a mom, but you're also have your own on camera get ready company that you have, but you also are doing things on social media. You have friends, you have family, you wear many different hats, is what I'm trying to advocate and say. And sometimes you also need some Jamie time too to yourself. So tell me, how do you keep it strong without experiencing burnout and different things of that nature?
I will say, creating reels is my Jamie time. Creating reels is my way to kind of have a diary.
Okay.
So for me, I don't ever feel, as long as I'm doing it the way I'm doing it right
Hmm.
now, and I'm doing more, right now I'm taking this approach of it being episodic content, like the 90 days, but it's just not every day.
Right.
And I put together, my next chapter behind the scenes material, and I write about what's going on in my life and how to help people, and just to be transparent with my journey. And those are therapeutic to me. I never feel like I have to crank them out. But I actually, I was just brought up a little differently. Journalism and being in television news, I just always loved it and became very passionate. Money never mattered. It was like, oh, okay, I'm making 20,000 a year, no problem.
Right.
Like, it's you're paid very little
Yep.
in this industry as a reporter, as a producer. And when I, had weddings or funerals, a lot of times I didn't go. And it hurt, to say no. And I look back now and I'm sad that I had to say
Hmm.
no, but I had to say no. Like the job and the mission to serve our readers or our audience just always was bigger than me and my needs. And I never really felt burnt out by it. If they said, "Hey, we need you to work a weekend," I worked a weekend.
Sure.
"Hey, we need you to switch your shift." Okay, no
Yep.
problem. Do a double. Sure, no
Yep.
problem. Kids, adding kids to it made it a little more
Mm.
difficult. If my husband wasn't, someone who had very flexible schedule and could take care of the kids when they were younger, I maybe would have felt more stressed or burnt out, but I really honestly didn't. And it wasn't until I left television news and cut cable for a year
Hmm.
and stopped reading the articles on New York Times. I mean, I haven't looked at the New York Times in a very long time. I stopped reading all of the news every single day because that's what I consumed. I consumed 24/7 cable news
Right.
every single
Right.
day. I have a TV and I had all the networks on. And then to cut it and to stop reading the news for a year and just let the news find me on Instagram or Facebook,
Hmm.
I felt this sudden calm that I never really felt before. So, although didn't struggle when I was in it, I realized when I got out of it that I needed that break
Sure.
and I need to find life work balance moving forward. And so now, since then, I've been focused on trying to balance everything and just make sure that I don't work too much, which I do,
Hmm.
um, and trying to make more time for my kids and my husband and my working, working out and healing. And I'm still on a healing journey. And so, yeah, it's tough, but I think mentally you just have to find what works for you and you need to identify your weaknesses and build those up so you can be stronger. and recognize that your weaknesses or what you think are your
Hmm.
strengths may be viewed differently from by others. So do a check-in with your spouse or your family to say, "Hey, am I maybe doing too much or am I around enough?" Because you want to be able to keep those relationships strong. So always have a check-in is what I would say too.
No, I love that. I love that answer. And obviously, you gave great answers all conversation long. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, how are you feeling? How are you feeling today? Are you good? Is everything okay with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay right this second, but I'm still dealing with just, chronic pain. And I think what people don't understand is, television news, it is every day, it is all the time. You're always on. You're always reading, you're always paying attention to what's
Hmm.
happening. And because of that, I realized I never really took a break to take care of the pain I was in. I just kept thinking, "Oh, it'll go away." And sometimes it would. Sometimes it would. And sometimes it was so bad that I couldn't believe I was still driving to work
Right.
because it hurt most driving.
Sure.
And I think, we all need to take those moments and recognize that we need to put ourselves and our health first and don't brush it under the
Hmm.
rug because if I had addressed it, if I had done something sooner, I may not be in the situation I'm in now, which is probably more like nerve damage, which is what I'm trying to deal with. Um, and so for those that don't know, I had a spinal surgery that I
Yep.
needed and it was meant to try and get rid of sciatica, but it just didn't. So I'm still trying to deal with that.
Again, thank you for your transparency. I
Of
really do
course.
appreciate that. And obviously, I had to ask because I have been following you. I do understand that you've been in and out of hospitals trying to deal with that. And I love what you just said about, it's tough for us to address problems head on. And here's where I'm going. And where I'm going with this is that normally it takes a situation for us to be in a situation for it to happen. Is what I'm saying. Like something has to happen to
Mhm.
us. Like we don't check
Mhm.
ourselves up like we regularly should. A lot of people don't. Something has to happen to us to the point where we have to get kind of like sat down and be like, wow, we got to really think like what's really important. Like taking care of ourselves is so important in this industry, not just physically, but mental health wise as well. And that's a very important thing I try to stress to all of my substitute when I do my substitute teaching, because I do substitute teaching out here as well. When I tell students that ask me about journalism, mental health is very important. Knowing your why is
Mhm.
very important. Knowing your worth is very important. But taking care of yourself is important as well. And it's
Mhm.
just not physically,
That's
it's
very true.
emotionally, it's spiritually, it's all the above. It really is. And it's also another great segue because now I want to ask you about advice. I can only imagine that I know I flood your DMs a lot. I write you and I message you, and I do that all the time because I just think you're great. I think you're amazing.
Oh,
I
thank
really
you.
do. But the reason why I say that is I know there's people that probably flood your DMs and ask you all types of questions about journalism. What kind of things do you say to those individuals that want to be in the broadcast journalism space? What kind of advice would you give those individuals?
Well, anybody who is looking to enter the wonderful career of broadcast journalism, you just have to be ready for that low pay and high expectations off the
Hmm.
bat. Right now, in broadcast journalism across the country, we are seeing high turnaround when people go into those newsrooms because they are overwhelmed by the fact that you are essentially giving up your identity as who you are
Right.
to be a
Hmm.
journalist. My identity up until leaving CNN was always I'm a TV news producer.
Right.
And when you have to separate yourself from that, it's hard. But when you start out and you immediately need to really claim that identity, it sometimes can be hard for people to wrap their minds around that and also give themselves um, to a profession that they're still just learning.
Right.
So I think it can be shocking for some people right now, considering the expectations on, say, MMJs, which are very entry level reporters. They shoot, record, edit, and report. It's more of a compact role than it was when I first started. But when I was a reporter, I was everything. I was the photographer for print and, the writer. But I would say just be prepared to know that that's the road ahead if you're going down it. A lot of hours, a lot of missed holiday
Yeah.
meals, and you have to believe that the mission is worth it. And that's how I believed. I believed the mission was worth it. And I lived for my audience. And so if that's what you want, it's a great road to go down.
I appreciate again you saying that. I really do. A lot of times that I've noticed, being in this industry, there's been people that have gotten into this industry for the wrong reason, which is one of
Mhm.
the main reasons, again, why I want to do a podcast, because this is also kind of behind the scenes of bringing people on who are actually experienced and actually go through it on a daily basis. They talk about what it really is. Because, when you see the beautiful face, beautiful lady, handsome guy on TV, wow, I want to be on TV. He or she must have it made. And sometimes you can get a misconception of that, and it's really just not at all what the case is, dealing with this industry.
I would say in most cases, reporters and anchors are rewriting or writing their scripts. And a lot of people don't realize that. You'll have a whole team of producers and writers, but those anchors, the words coming out of their mouth
Mhm.
are
Right,
theirs. So they will then go through and tweak and rewrite and ask questions and say, hey, let's add a different stat here.
right,
They're very involved and in most cases. And it does add this layer of, I guess, an unexpected layer that many people leaving broadcast news, in college
right,
don't
mhm,
realize. They think, "Oh, when I get to be an anchor, everything will just be delivered to me." And
right.
yeah, but not really. So, that's a reality
It
check.
is. It is. I want to ask you about on the on camera get ready, because I want to know the origins
Mhm.
of that. I want to know
So,
that.
yeah, so on cam, it's, just on and then
Hmm.
CAM in brackets or parentheses.
Hmm.
It is the term that you use in the teleprompter to let the anchor know that they're on camera.
Hmm.
It's shorthand, on cam. And the on cam is a term that I used a lot, really to let my anchors know, like, you're on camera. Especially if they didn't know and they were looking down, I would put on cam in the prompter and have it pop up so they'd be like, oh,
Okay.
I'm on camera,
Hmm.
without even having to tell them. So for me, when I decided to start helping people become ready for their on-camera moments, it was a natural name for me,
Hmm.
on cam ready. So it's just, that's just where it came from. And I use on cam ready as my brand, but also my business name. And on cam ready is definitely something that I never thought I would be doing if you asked me 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm glad I have started to really build and create because it makes me happy to help people.
I'm glad
It's
too.
like pivoting. You know what I'm saying? When you're a journalist, you're always trying to help people, inform them, and let them know what's going
Yep.
on in the world. And now I'm just helping them in a different way.
Absolutely. I'm very happy that you're doing it. I know it's paying it
Mhm.
forward. It's pretty much what you're doing, which
Yeah.
which is amazing. I love that. We've reached a portion of my podcast now where I want to play my interactive game with you, Jamie, which is called This or That.
Okay.
So it's a game that I like to
Okay.
play with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. And it's really simple. I throw some things at you, and you get to choose this or that. So, Jamie, I'll ask you, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, here we go. When it comes to these two restaurants, and if you had to choose one to eat at, which one would you choose? Would you choose Longhorn Steakhouse or Texas Roadhouse?
I've never been to either.
Oh my, oh my,
I'm gonna go with Longhorn.
oh my Lord, Jamie, we're going to change that. We're going to have to change that. At least
I
one of
don't go
them.
that much.
At least one of them.
Okay.
Because I know they got them
All right.
there in
I said
Atlanta.
Longhorn. It just sounds better.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Longhorns though. I got you. Okay. Um, when it comes to chicken wings, which flavor
Hmm.
would you rather have on the chicken wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Lemon pepper.
Okay, here we go. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Dry.
Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
I guess bone for if it's a chicken wing. Yeah, sure.
Okay, okay. All right, I got you. I like it. So you like to dip it into the sauce, or do you not like much sauce on
I like the dry lemon pepper on the chicken
it?
wing.
Dry lemon
Mhm.
pepper. Okay, I
Mhm.
got you. I got you. All right. These next four questions have to do
Mhm.
with music concerts that you rather
Okay.
attend, and in your case, artists that you rather listen to. So here we go.
Okay.
Which artist would you rather listen to, Beyonce or Rihanna?
Beyonce.
Okay, I like that. Which artist would you rather listen to? Would you rather listen to Boys to Men or New Edition?
Boys to Men.
Okay, that's you very decisive, Jamie. I like that. Which artist?
Trying to be.
I like that though. Which artist would you rather listen to, Brandy or Monica?
Brandy.
Okay.
I had Brandy.
Oh, okay. Now this is the last one. Last one here. Which artist would you rather listen to? Would you rather listen to Usher or would you rather listen to Chris Brown?
Mm. Usher.
Oh, you took a breath on that one. Was that okay?
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of either, but Usher of both. I think Usher as a musician, yes.
Yes. Well, yeah. We kind of know his off the stage stuff. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I got you. Okay, that's pretty good. When it comes to these sports, which sport would you rather watch on TV? Basketball or hockey?
Hockey.
Okay. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Badminton.
Okay, got you. I like that. That is a minority kind of pick right there. Most people choose bowling, but I like that. You're going against the
Mhm.
grain. I like that. When it comes to I would say desserts. Do you like desserts?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Do you like? Are you more of a salty person? Do you like potato chips?
No.
Oh my, Jamie, what do you eat? No desserts, no
I
chips.
know.
What's going
I
on?
know. I'm bad.
It
I'm really
it is
bad.
it is it's totally fine. It is totally fine. I we will reverse it and flip it because I always have a plan B.
Well, tell me what they are. I'll pick anyway.
Okay, you sure? Okay, here we go.
Mhm.
So I normally throw out four categories of desserts,
Okay.
and also chips as well. But we'll get to the chips. First, we'll do desserts. The first category is candy. Okay. The second category is cookies.
All right.
The
Go
the
for it.
third category is ice cream.
Mhm.
The last category is grouped together. So it's pies slash cakes. Which one?
Okay. And why do you ask all this?
So what I normally like to do is I like to switch it up. I like to switch it up because how we talking about what you do and how you
Mhm.
do and the type of things that you're doing as far as your field and your occupation. I like to ask to get to know you questions as well.
Yeah.
What are those? Sorry, what are those type of things that you
Mhm.
like to eat? What are those type of things you like to watch? What are those type of things you like to
Mhm.
listen to? So that's why I like to switch it up like that because if I just consistently ask you, bam, 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 at some point
Mhm.
yeah, you know what I mean? So that's what I like to do.
Mhm. So candy. Go ahead.
Candy. Okay, so candy. No, no. But you didn't hear the rest of it. You got to pick one of these categories that you wouldn't eat, that you would eliminate forever.
Oh, eliminate candy.
Eliminate candy. Okay, here we go. All right, here's the potato chips. I give you four
Mhm.
brands of potato chips. You have to choose
Mhm.
one of these brands to eliminate that you'll never eat again. Okay, so here we go, Jamie. The first one is Ruffles.
Ruffles already. Just
Oh my
deleted.
God, Jamie, what is going on? Well, I was gonna say,
I can't
oh,
stand Ruffles.
oh my gosh.
Just get rid of
You
it.
know what? Okay, okay. I was gonna say Doritos, Lay's, and also Pringles. So
Ruffles.
Ruffles still. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, I mean, there's a lot of things I love about you, but you just proven you're not perfect. That's just all it is. That's all it is.
I'm not into the Ruffles.
Oh my goodness. Okay. You know, my favorite chip is actually sour cream and cheddar ruffles. That's why I say that.
Ruffles?
That's why I say that. Yeah.
Oh,
That is
wow.
my favorite
Okay.
chip for sure. Now, you say you're not into chips, you're not into desserts. Like what would you eat? I'm curious.
I eat like plain Tostitos plain chips.
Tostitos. No, okay, I got you. Like, is that like a snack
Plain.
for you? Like, what kind of snack? If you wanted to get a snack, what do you consider a snack?
Yeah, that.
That
I would probably get Tostitos plain chips.
okay,
I like them.
okay, I like that. That's cool.
Get a handful. Mhm.
Okay, that's all right.
And like desserts, I'm just really picky. I don't eat much sugar. It gives me a headache. So
Mhm.
I limit candy and sugar because of that.
I can understand that. I can respect that.
Mhm.
Now, this next question is called bucket list. And the
Okay.
reason why it's called bucket list is I want you to name me a top four of events or stories or people, in your case, that you would like to interview or do in your career that you haven't done yet.
Hmm. Things that I'm going to stick with things I want to
Okay.
do. I want to have a TEDx talk. I think that would be great. I
Oh,
want to write a book, like a book, not just my workbook that I just published for my
I
course.
like that.
I would like to become the Amy Porterfield of media training
Wow.
and really build an online brand. And I would like to have my podcast rival Lewis Howes and Jay Shetty at some point.
I think that's a possibility for sure. No question. And you certainly can get to the Amy Porterfield. I truly feel that. I truly feel that. But a book, huh? What would you call your book
Mhm.
that you write?
On Cam Ready. How to become on Cam Ready. No,
I walk.
I have some name ideas, but really it probably would be that.
I definitely walked into that one, Jamie. That's for sure.
Yeah, you
I
did.
did. I did walk into that one. Those are pretty cool. The reason why I asked that is because I like people to speak it into existence. Those are realistic
Mhm.
goals. And everybody names four goals that they always say they don't think about it. But in hindsight, we do think about it. We do think about
Mhm.
reaching those goals. And I love people to mention those goals so that they can be attainable. And because I feel like if you're always striving for something, then you have purpose. And the moment that you don't,
Yeah.
your purpose is lost, in my opinion. That's why I asked that question. Now we talked about advice you would give.
Mhm.
I want to know what is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to.
Hmm. Recently, I was given the advice to celebrate your wins, big or small, and I highly recommend that others do that too because
Hmm.
whenever I left, the newsroom and I lost that identity, right? That piece of me,
Hmm.
every win felt small and it never felt big enough. And I think it's important that you really take stock in all those little wins that you have because that will help you stay positive and keep you going. I get very down on myself and critical because I don't have that everyday show to be like, wow, we did it. I accomplished something every single day.
Sure.
Not having that has been hard for me.
Mm.
So, I have to always remind myself to celebrate the small wins.
Well, why do you think it is so hard for you? If you don't mind me asking.
I mean, it's been my whole
Yeah.
life. If you think about it, I started to produce a morning show in high school.
Yeah.
So every day we had a morning show. Every day we worked on scripts. Every day we accomplished
Right.
something. By the time when I was in college, I every day I was at the gym. Every day I got my workout in. I did not take a day off. It was like I had something that I would feel accomplished by. And then when I started to work in television news while in college, that was also the every day I felt like I accomplished something. When I was a reporter's assistant for a long time in
Hmm.
college, we had a story to put on air every single night I worked. And that made me feel like, wow, we got something done. It was like a win,
Right.
celebration. It's that adrenaline rush. And then ever since I graduated, I started at
Yep.
MSNBC. My first day out of school, I'm at MSNBC.
Wow.
So every day I had a show, producing a show every day for 20 something years. That's a lot. And if you date it back to high school, that's like over 30 years of cranking out content on a regular basis. And you start to essentially need that every day win, to feel good. And that's how I was, at least. I guess I was a news junkie.
To kind of feel like you almost have to like validate, right? Feel validated.
Yeah, it was a daily
Right,
validation. Anytime you did something, it
right,
was like, "All right, you got this."
right.
And then you'd relax on the weekend and start all over again.
Like routine, right? Just like routine. I
Mhm.
love that. No, that.
I'm sure that's the same for athletes,
Mhm.
once they're not in the game and they don't have that game that they're working for and either a win or a loss, no more game, then they probably have the same feeling of like, Who am I? What am I doing now? What am I supposed to do
Finding
next?"
themselves. Right.
Right?
Right.
Like it's hard to adjust.
No question, no question about that. I'm intrigued because I want to ask you this kind of bonus question, and that is, a lot of times you have people that say you should say yes to everything, say yes to everything. And I'm under the notion that at first, in my earlier days when I was in my 20s, I was like, okay, you know what, I want to say yes to a lot of different things. I'm yes, yes, yes all the time. But now that I'm older, now I'm kind of more hesitant to say yes all the time because there's just different things and I'm in a different spot in my life. What would you say as far as the percentage wise of people saying yes and people saying no? When should they? When should they not? Because
Hmm.
there's always been kind of a 50-50 dynamic of you should say yes to everything, but then you shouldn't say yes because you may be walked on like a doormat. So, and that does happen in our industry, unfortunately, with some of these stations and some of these publications. What is your
Hmm.
perspective on that?
I mean, I think in the beginning you should say yes in this
Hmm.
industry, in life in general. I think what's happening right now is so many people are saying no
Hmm.
at that young age, and that's probably why we're seeing, you know, uh, this industry struggle, to retain talent at times. But I think it's important to say yes in those early ages, in those early stages of life, because you want to have as many experiences as possible so you can identify exactly what you want to say no to. But for me, I didn't always say yes toward the end of my career in television
Okay.
news. I started to say yes in 2024. I began my yes year. So in 2024, I basically said yes to any opportunity that came to me so I could give it a try. I did live events. I had a politics show at one point. We had a media podcast. I had, a variety of different challenges. I was helping commentators with their in home studios and working with real estate agents, and producing so many different forms of content that when 2025 came, I began to say no. And since July, I mostly say no right now.
Well, I'm sure.
And that's because I need to say yes to my course, which is coming out, the visibility program. And I need to say yes to officially building On Cam Ready as a business and not just like a hobby, which is what it kind of was up until July. It was more of like a side business, like my little pet project, and I was still looking for a new job, but realized maybe I should just make this my job
Yeah.
and see where I can go from there.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm glad you said yes to me. That's for definitely sure. I'm so happy you did. But I want to talk to you about that course because I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the course
Yeah.
because there's a couple of friends that I have in the industry that are doing kind of like on air institutes or doing type of courses that you can take and learn more about being on air. Talk to me about what this particular course is that you're building, the origins behind it, how long the course is going to be, because you never know. I may just want to pop in myself and learn a thing or two. So I want to be
So
enlightened about it.
Yeah, so right now I'm going to be offering visibility coaching
Hmm.
calls where it'll be, live calls that will talk about what's happening. I'll do kind of like webinars,
Okay.
and then that'll funnel into the course. And the course is a
Mm.
program, it's a visibility program of 7
Okay.
videos. I think it might be at the max like 4 hours
Hmm.
total. But the workbook is over 100 pages,
Wow.
and it's all about identifying who you are, who your audience is, and what you want to be saying to them on social media so that you can start building your audience based on your expertise. My ideal client is an expert, someone who already has that long form body of work, a book, a film, a talk show, and they really want to start using that to leverage themselves as an expert within their niche, but they just don't know how
Right.
to start truncating it and making it into bite sized pieces of content. My ideal client is also someone who's maybe a real estate agent, a lawyer, someone who've had a long time in their industry and now wants to start building an audience on social media and being seen as a reliable source, and they just don't know how. So, this course focuses on all those areas and then gives them tips on how to record themselves, edit a little bit. And then it also talks about how to leverage your expertise to lean into the media and potentially attract press.
Mm, I like
So
that.
it'll see. We'll
Now,
see.
when can we expect that course to be out?
It's done. I just finished it yesterday, and so I have to run it through my team of testers. And then once they get through it, I will launch it. I could launch it in a few weeks, but I think what I'll do is wait till November 1st to make it very like exact.
Absolutely. And lastly on that, I wanna know how long did it take you to design a course like this?
So yeah, in 2024, I was about to take a job and I decided not to so that I could focus on this
Okay.
course. And it just kept coming back to me. I began building out the portal and the website in
Mhm.
2024. And then I began slowly updating my website. I used Wix and now I don't. Now I use Kajabi. And Kajabi is a lot to learn. I'm still learning it, but I had to rebuild my entire website on Kajabi
Wow.
and I didn't want someone else doing it because I wanted to have the ownership of being able to update it whenever I wanted.
Sure.
And I liked that about Wix. But Kajabi took a long time. So building out just the infrastructure took me until June.
Okay.
So then in July, after this one job I took, I started to write out the courses and then I recorded everything. But you have to really lay the groundwork first. So I would say it took a year because I started to lay out what are my frameworks? What are the organizational tools that people can use to save time? And how do I apply them? And what do I like most? And what's an easy way for them to learn? So all that does take time, I would say. It's not as easy as people make it seem.
Oh no. I mean, like I told you, I've been following you for quite some time. There be times when you be up in the wee hours of the morning working on this type of stuff.
Mhm.
And that I've seen, that you
Yeah.
posted for sure. So I'm like, yo, if you doing that, it had to take a minute for you to be able to get this stuff done. But that's amazing.
Mhm.
That people will be able to take
Yeah.
this course
I'm
and
excited.
learn something, and for you to design it and build it, that's amazing too. I'll be remiss to ask you before I let you get on up out of here. I gotta ask you about unknown to known. What are
Mhm.
how many episodes? 'Cause I know you say doing it in batch and bulk, but how many
Mhm.
particularly episodes do you want to do per week as far as podcast goes? I know I haven't seen all of it, but you just had a conversation with Allison as well, or
Mhm.
Allison Camerata,
Camerata.
Camerata,
Mhm.
right? That's her name from
Yeah, Camerata. Mhm.
Camerata from CNN, but she's now doing her own thing as well, having her own podcast as well. How many?
Yeah, and I help her with that.
Oh, so you two are combining on that. You help her with that. Okay, got you. That's amazing to hear. How many episodes do you want to do of your podcast? How long is your podcast typically goes? Does it vary with each guest?
So right now, I'm about to host a Riverside sponsored event in Atlanta,
Oh,
and I'm a host for that event, and I speak on behalf of creators using Riverside. I think Riverside really is the best platform. Your audience can use my code OCR15 to get a
okay.
discount. But I think if you're using a Riverside virtual platform, you can really crank out more material than if you have to book an on-site, on location podcasting studio.
Without
So for
question.
me, my purposes, it works great and I can batch record. My goal is to have an episode every week with a bonus episode that follows. Every week I have conversations, but the bonus episode is where my heart's at. The bonus episode is a pep talk to those that are trying to put themselves on camera. And I have the guests deliver words of encouragement or advice. And I just love that. because I want more people to feel confident on camera and to know that doing it is going to help them achieve all the dreams that they have ahead of them or they've always thought they could achieve. And I just want them to feel good about that. So these little pep talks are my favorite part of the podcast. But yeah, it's a weekly podcast and I started it August 1st, I guess, at this
Mm,
point. So August, and it'll run forever. I don't see it ending. I had a podcast before that was a bi-weekly podcast, and it just lost steam when it became bi-weekly. You need consistency to grow as a
right.
podcast. You need consistency to grow as a YouTube channel. And so this gives me two pieces of long form content a week to put out with the podcast and the bonus episode. And then when I don't have a bonus episode on YouTube, I put out a tutorial on either Riverside or another platform I use to help people create content with ease. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Riverside. I used to always do mine on Zoom or SoundCloud, not SoundCloud, SoundStream. No,
Yeah.
SoundStream. I used to do that on there, and then I discovered Riverside. I was like,
Or the Snapstream, if maybe that's the one you're talking about. But Snapstream and yeah, there's a lot of different
right.
platforms. But Riverside, go ahead. I didn't want to
No, no,
interrupt
no,
you.
you're good. But Riverside is definitely something that I came upon, I stumbled upon, and I love it. I'm not going back. I'm totally hooked on this because I love what they're doing. I love the way that you can do the clips. I love the editing portions of it. And I just love the platform and the ease of being able to get into the platform and be able to conduct conversations like this. I'm so
Mhm.
jealous and upset that I will not be there at that Riverside event because I know you're going to host the heck out of it and do a very good job.
Thank
But I'm
you.
sure there's going to be more events in the future. I want to say
Yeah.
this has been a really, really good conversation with you, Jamie. I'm just learning about
Thank
you,
you.
learn about your why, learn about who you are and what you do. Very interesting as far as the dessert and the snacks go. But other than that, everything else is absolutely amazing about you. Obviously, you're very talented, very beautiful, very passionate, and very driven, which is what we need more in our industry. So obviously, with you paying it forward, the way that you're paying it forward, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on my platform and anybody else's platform that you're on. So thank you for doing what you do. My final question to you before I let you go on out of here is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, the job, journalism, or anything at all before we conclude?
I just think that, the support is necessary for anyone you
Hmm.
see trying to navigate this new media space, or like Chris has with the podcast. I have it with the podcast. I think it's important to show support because having that engagement, having that celebration going on behind the scenes is needed for people to keep going when you are cranking out a ton of content, and the family isn't always there. Family and friends don't always show up,
Right.
so sometimes you need to show up for those that you see are really pushing themselves out there because they could need that support. And I've really appreciated your support, Chris, so thanks for having me on the show.
No, no question about it. My support will continue for you. I cannot wait to see what more you crank out, and I'm sure you probably feel the same way about myself. Obviously, I want you to have a wonderful Friday evening with your family and weekend. And you and I will most certainly stay in touch. And I'm gonna have to let you know when I'm down there in Atlanta. I would love to be able to say hello to you in person because that would be amazing.
Cool. Have a great
You
one.
too.
Thanks so much for having me. Bye.
Bye.
Um,